Welcome to Technology Learning Space YouTube channel. This video is about vSphere replication. In the last video series, I have covered VMware Site Recovery Manager with array-based replication, which is an alternative of vSphere replication. Configuration of vSphere replication with SRM includes many steps. This video is prepared with a brief overview of vSphere replication, and following to that, demo of each step on how to configure, and then we will see how we can fail over to DR site and recover virtual machines in case of a disaster. As I explained in the Site Recovery Manager with Storage Array series, we have two methods to replicate a virtual machine. vSphere replication can protect virtual machine in different scenarios, like from source site to target site, single site from one cluster to another, or from a multiple source to a shared remote target site. vSphere replication offers you data protection at low cost per VM compared to storage array based protection. You can start this solution with a local disk or a low cost SAN storage or different vendors for each sites. So that brings flexible storage vendor selection. Now let's see what you need to start the VMware vSphere replication. A vCenter server, Site Recovery Manager server, EXSI machines and virtual machines to be protected are the minimum things to be ready at both sites before you start. Next is to set up vSphere Replication Appliance and then configure it to replicate virtual machines. So that is all about the overview of vSphere replication. Now let us see how to configure each step. First part of the demo, we are going to see how to download VMware Site Recovery Manager. You can go to myvmware.com and download VMware Site Recovery Manager. If you have a license, you can download your licensed version. Otherwise, go for a free trial for learning purpose. VMware Site Recovery Manager is a Windows application. So once you completed the download, you can start installation of VMware Site Recovery Manager. Here it is 6.5.1. We install this in a Windows server. So you need a Windows server to be ready to install VMware Site Recovery Manager. Follow the wizard, agree the license agreement, then click Next. vSphere SRM installation require a minimum information like your platform service controller address, username and password. So here vCenter for primary, we are installing Site Recovery Manager for primary site A. So give the vCenter address of site A, then its credentials. Accept the certificate. Then it asks you to select vCenter server address. Here I have only one vCenter server, so I'm going with that. Click Next. Then it asks you for the administration email and also the local host of Site Recovery Manager which you installed. I'm going with the default Site Recovery Manager plugin identifier. Then click Next. Select automatically generate a certificate. Then click Next. Here you give the organization information to generate the certificate. For me, it's IT Pro Guide. Then click Next. So it's asking for the database. You have two options, either go with embedded database server or you can use a custom database server. To configure a custom database server, you need to configure the ODBC driver here. So for me, this is a demonstration, so I'm just go with a embedded database server. So the minimum things to configure the embedded database configuration. So give the source name, database username, password, then click Next. Go for a local system account, then click next, then kick off the installation. VMware SRM installation has completed. Next is to verify VMware SRM installation. For that, log into vCenter server in site A. And from the home tab, you can see Site Recovery Manager. A new icon is listed in here. Click Site Recovery Manager and you can see SRM has installed successfully at site A. What we installed now is Site Recovery Manager at site A. The next step is to install the same SRM at site B, and during the installation you can configure the vCenter at site B as we did for the SRM at site A. So once you complete these two steps, then the next step is to pair these sites. For pairing sites in VMware Site Recovery Manager, go to vCenter at site A, click Home tab and go to Site Recovery. And here you can see sites. Go and click to sites. Then right click on the vCenter server listed below sites. First option, pair site. Enter the vCenter server address at your site B. Here vCenter site b.itprogguide.com. Click next. Enter the credentials. So now we are pairing site A and site B together. Click finish. You can see the progress of site pairing in the recent tasks. Okay, now the site pairing has completed. So SRM is ready and pairing between site A and site B also done. The next part is to deploy vSphere Replication Appliance at both sites. In this demonstration, I will show you how to deploy vSphere Replication Appliance at the main site, and the same replica you can do for site B. vSphere Replication Appliance, you can download it from VMware website. If you have an account and license, then you can log in and download your version. If you don't have an account, get a free trial from here. VMware SRM was a exe application and you installed it in a Windows server. Here the vSphere Replication Appliance, it's a OVF file, so you have to upload it through vCenter server into one of your EXSI host. So for that, select the following file: 2 VMDK disk and 1 certification MF and OVF file. Then click open. Click next. Select the VM folder. Then select EXSI host which you want to deploy this vSphere Replication Appliance. Click next. Accept the license agreement. Then click next. Select the configuration. Here this is just for a demonstration, so I'm just going with 2 virtual CPU. Based upon your environment, you can change it. Select the data store. Then click next. Select a network which you want to assign for the vSphere Replication Appliance and configure IP address. So for that, select IP allocation as a manual and fill up the details. Click next and just review the configuration and click finish. And from the recent tasks, you can see the progress of deployment of virtual appliance for the vSphere replication. Okay, import has completed. Next is to configure vSphere Replication Appliance. For that, Log into vSphere Replication Appliance using the management IP which we configured just before. Go to configuration page. Here we have three things to be filled up: lookup service address, SSO administrator, and password. Lookup service address is the vCenter server address at site A, and the administrator is administrator at itproguide.com, and password. The same thing you have to repeat for the site B. Deploy a vSphere replication appliance at site B, then start it up, then configure lookup service address as vCenter site b.itproguide.com, then administrator username, then password, and save the configuration. Once you filled up the necessary details, click save and restart service. Confirm SSL as certificate acceptance. So the configuration has successfully saved. Similarly, repeat the same step for vSphere replication appliance at site B. So here you can see the lookup service address is vCenter site B, and give administrator and password credentials also, then save and restart the service from the action. Next, we are going to connect a target site. For that, click on the vCenter server, and from the configure, you can see target sites. So click on the target sites and press connect it to target site. Here you enter the platform service controller address of remote site. For me, it is vCenter site b.itproguide.com. And following to that, enter the credentials of platform service controller. Click OK. And now the connectivity between the sites has done. You can see vCenter site b.itproguide.com. Next, we are going to configure or enable a replication for virtual machines that to be protected. You can see the virtual machine for RP. That is a virtual machine which I'm going to protect. So here there are two options, either cloud provider or vCenter. I'm going to select vCenter, and my target site is vCenter site B. And it's asking for the replication server. I have just only one replication server, so I give by default, and it's asked the target data store location. And replication options like guest OS queuing and network compression. I'm just following the default setup. This is a recovery point objective based upon your connection speed. You can configure it, and there is something called point in time instances, like you can have different versions of your virtual machine at your site B. You can see the configuration in recent tasks. Okay, it has completed now. Next, we are going to browse vCenter at site B, our target site, and checking the status of vSphere replication of the virtual machine which we protected from site A. You can see the status, its initial full sync is kicked off already, and the virtual disk also has created, you can see in the recent task. Next, we are going to create mapping for folders, network resources, then EXSI, that is what resource mapping, then a placeholder data store. So a virtual machine from the main site will go and sit in the DR site as we map it for the folder, network, resources, and a placeholder data store. A placeholder data store is the one which hold the configuration files when we configure for a replication. So the placeholder data store holding these configuration files will help the vCenter have a visibility to what are the virtual machines are going to be placed in the DR site. So let's start from the site recovery manager. Click site recovery, vCenter at site A, and from the manage you can see network mapping till placeholder data store. Let's start from the network mapping. You can prepare manually or automatically. I'm going for a manual preparation. Expand data center A and data center B. Select virtual networks and click add mapping, then click next. Here it is asking for isolated network where if you wanna run a test environment in your DR site. So click next, and a reverse mapping whenever you fail over from DR site to main site. Click finish. The next one is folder mapping. Prepare mappings manually. Click next and select folders and click add mapping. Okay, as I said, the reverse mapping for recovery. Then the third one, resource mapping. Select EXSI host from main site and DR site. So the virtual machines which we protected will start up from 119 at DR site in 219. Click here to apply this for a reverse mapping, like whenever you switch over from DR site to main site. So finally, the placeholder data store. Select one of the data store at the DR site, then click OK. Next, we are going to create a protection group. For that, go to site recovery and click sites. From the select vCenter, you can see in the related objects protection group. Below that there is a create protection group. Name a meaningful label. And select individual VM vSphere replication and select the virtual machine which you want to protect. Then click finish. So the protection group has created. Next is to create a recovery plan. For that, click recovery plan and create a recovery plan. Give a meaningful name. Select a recovery site and click protection group. You can have multiple protection group in one recovery. And click finish. So now you have a recovery plan. So whenever there is a planned failover or a disaster, you can select the recovery plan and click run. So here we are going to see how to run a recovery plan. So this is a test recovery plan which will not shut down the virtual machines in the production site, which will start up the virtual machines in the recovery site at the same time we're running in the production. And the virtual machines at the DR site will be connected to a isolated network. So you can apply patches, or you can do some testings, and then you can evaluate your patch updates or testing. You can see the progress of recovery plan and the recent tasks. Now you can see the recovery plan has completed. Let's go and check at site B. You can see the virtual machine is up and just starting up. This time it will be connected to an isolated network because we run the recovery plan as a test. You can clean up to delete or to wipe out whatever the test you have done on this recovery plan. So once you done the cleanup then the virtual machine that created at the recovery site will be deleted. Next, we are going to do a planned migration. In a planned migration, virtual machines at the main site will be shut down, and then the virtual machines will be started up at the DR site. So let's see how it work out. Now we are running a planned migration. So it is noticing us that the attempt will shut down the virtual machines at the protected site and recover the VMs at the recovery site. Then click finish. So this time the virtual machine in the main site will be shut down first, and it will synchronize all the recent changes, so there will be no data loss in a planned migration. This will be helpful if you know about there is an outage is coming, or you need to test your DR site semi-annually or annual DR site. This method will be helpful. Let's go and see the progress in the site B. You can see the failover recovery plan is running in the recent tasks. And it's powering up the virtual machine now. Now this time when we check the virtual machine status in the main site, it will be shut down. You can see the virtual machine in the main site is shut down. So that's all about VMware Site Recovery Manager with vSphere replication. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe us for more videos.